guys, welcome to the show. So today I'm going to be talking to Yannick Cruden. He is an expert in e-commerce and funnel creation. He's currently living in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's great to have you on the show today, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for it.
That's all good. So just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Yeah, sure. My name is Yannick, 27 years old already. I'm born and raised in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, living together with my girlfriend and my 5-month-old baby daughter, which is amazing, the best experience of my life. I'm in digital marketing. How I rolled into it is actually a pretty fun story. Did an exchange program in Long Beach, California for 1 semester. A lot of friends went out. I didn't feel like going out, so I stayed home in the dorm room. Everybody back home was back asleep because of the time difference. So I did what everybody probably have done before. I went to YouTube. I searched for how to make money online. Came across a video of Jay Richard talking about how he made it, how he started with eBay, drop shipping. He read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that sounded super interesting. So the first thing that I did was I bought Rich Dad Poor Dad on Amazon. I hated reading, so that was pretty fun. But I love this book, and from there onwards, I read multiple books. And I was interested in dropshipping, so I started with that. And fast forward a few years later, I'm still in digital marketing, and I really like it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what got you to where you are today. Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of my all-time favorites as well. It is a classic.
Yeah,
Good old Kiyosaki.
it is. Yeah, exactly. I have it here, like it's right next to my desk.
It's a
Great book.
It's a part of the furniture. What are some things you learned whenever you try and drop shipping out at the beginning?
That's a great question. I learned a lot. So I started creating my first store when I was back home in the Netherlands. Um, so I started doing bikinis on the website.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, every girl needs bikinis. If I target like a country that has always sunny weather, I will be rich tomorrow. That was my mindset.
Yeah.
So I created the store, did everything the guy said on YouTube, and the next day woke up 0 sales. I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I tried it, changing some things in the ads and everything, but it didn't work. And I was like, okay. So I shut down the store. I created another store, like with some taggy products. Tried different things, and then I got my first sale. I remember it. It was like $9. It was a free plus shipping offer back then. It worked. Nowadays it doesn't work anymore. But what did I learn? I learned a lot, like how to create an ad, for example, your target audience, the whole marketing, like how can you promote things, how can you do things differently, but also customer support. And I think a lot of people underestimate customer support because that takes a lot of time as well. But it was a fun story. I learned a lot along the way.
Do you get many refunds from when you're drop shipping?
Yeah, it really depends on the product, of course. If you have like a tech product with a battery and stuff like that, the refunds are a little bit higher. But if you just go for a simple product, and the quality is normally pretty okay, then you don't have a lot of refunds. But of course, you still have refunds, like the packaging, damaging packaging, like imagine going from China to another country, like they throw packages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's you hear those stories as well. You get refunds for that, but you have to overcome that. That's a thing that that's part of the job.
Exactly. Yeah. What was that feeling like when you got your first sale come through?
Dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. I think I still have the screenshot somewhere on my phone.
Really?
It was I was definitely not profitable at that time, but it was an amazing feeling. It's just like, even though it was just $9 or $9.95, something like that.
Yeah,
I can still remember it. It's crazy feeling.
I guess it gives you the belief that it is possible whenever you first get that first one.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow afterwards it goes better and better and better. Like you of course you develop yourself, you improve your things, but after that first sales, it gives you that power and that extra energy to go through. And then when you got more and more sales, but you just remember the first one, that is just life-changing moment.
So you obviously from the Netherlands and you studied in California, Long Beach, which is always a dream of yours. Was America what you always expected?
Yeah, that's a great question. I always wanted to go to the US. My English was pretty bad before I went to uni.
Right.
So going to America, going to the States could really help me.
Yeah.
When I first landed over there, it was like exactly as you would see in movies, like exactly the same thing. Los Angeles is like the big roads, like the traffic lights, everything you see in the movies, it's just like that.
Yeah.
So in a way, yes, but at the other side, you also see a lot of like poverty and homeless people in the streets, what you don't see that often in movies and things like that. But
Right.
California is Western. It's pretty the same culture as here in the Netherlands. But I think if I go to another part of the US, it would be different because it's so big.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've heard that every different state is almost like a different country. It's got its own vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe after Australia, I'll head over there.
I would definitely recommend it. Like, even though like just experience for once. I went to, as I said, California. I also went to Florida, to Miami. It's
Cool.
totally different. The weather is different. The people are different.
Yeah.
And I can imagine New York is, for example, totally different vibe as well. So
Definitely.
experience as much as possible.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So what are your favorite platforms to get traffic to your store?
So in terms of like in the past, doing e-com, drop shipping, I also always use Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Recently, like TikTok is really taking off. Try TikTok as well. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm looking into, because I still have a store, I'm looking into starting on Pinterest. I heard that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But I haven't started yet. And we just started with Google. I actually never used Google, which is pretty weird. Always, you are the Google guy, so probably need some tips from you. But mainly the focus was on Facebook and Instagram because it just has a lot of data and works pretty good for like simple products.
Yeah.
I always thought Google is better if you have like a more expensive product that people are really searching for. But nowadays that's definitely not true, I guess. But mainly Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok works really well.
That's awesome. Yeah, the targeting on Facebook and Instagram, they've got so many users that you can get really detailed with all the interests and demographics that you target. I find it's for that it's better than Google. Google's great if people are actually searching for the product that they're looking for, but if you want to appear in front of your ideal customer who isn't looking for your product necessarily, Facebook is probably the way to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like the instant buy, like, oh, this looks good. Oh, it's only like $37 or $60. Oh, let's go. Let's buy it.
Yeah.
But if 100%. You sell a product that's like $400, $500, $800, then it wouldn't work on Facebook that good.
Yeah, it's longer. It's good for that, the low ticket offers for sure. So once you built up your skill set and you then started running out ads for other brands. Is that right? And
I've done that for a while.
And you partnered up with, is it an agency, Spike?
I met this guy Spike through a mutual friend of mine. And I just spoke with him. He has an agency. Yeah. I was just joining him, helping him, and work together, which was pretty good.
Yeah, cool. Did you learn a lot more, like working alongside someone else?
Yeah, sure. Like he was doing Facebook a lot longer than I did. Yeah. So I learned a lot from him as well. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Yeah. And seeing it from another perspective and seeing that it also works a different way, that's always good. And working together was also pretty good. He's a great guy.
What made you want to transition from running your own stores to wanting to help other businesses out with their ads and their marketing?
That's a great question. If I be honest, it's probably the amount of work. Like running your own stores is a lot of work. You have to be in contact with the supplier. You have your customer support. Of course, you hire a VA that's doing the customer support for you. But
Yeah.
in the end, you're still responsible. So you have to communicate with your VA. You have to communicate with suppliers, doing everything yourself. And with an agency, you're just helping people that have already built it, and the risk is more at their side. And you can just focus on one part, what you're good at, and really help the business to grow.
Right.
So that's the main reason.
Gotcha. You don't have to worry about stock or get things running out or returns or anything like this. So you have a young daughter. How do you manage to balance family and family life and work?
That's hard, man.
Yeah.
That's really hard. Like, I've been recently, since 3 months, I've started focusing on LinkedIn just to put my own brand out, like trying to connect with new people, etc. And I just posted about it. Like, it's so different having a young daughter, spending time with her, and still doing your own work. So I'm still like trying to figure out what's the best way. She is not going to daycare yet.
Okay.
So I'm taking a lot of care with her, of her and my girlfriend as well. So I'm still trying to figure out like how can we manage it. And last weekend she was sick, for example. So then you have to spend even more time with her, cuddle with her, play with her, like swinging her in your arms to sleep. So that's something that I'm really trying to figure out still. But I think by the time I will learn living with it. But it's definitely a big change in my life. I normally work like during the day, but now when she's in bed, I work from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. to get my things done, and then wake up early again, and then so it's definitely a shift in your lifestyle. But you get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to do what you got to do, man. So when you work for a client or you take on a client of your own, do you prefer to price jobs on time or do you price them by results?
That's a great question. We have been thinking a lot about this when I was working with the agency, like doing the Facebook ads. Like in my opinion, like price based on the value you bring works better than based on time. And of course, people might have a different opinion, but if I think about it, if you say, hey, can you do this and this for me? And you will say, this is the price, or you ask, what's the price per hour? I'm like, this is the price. And you're like, okay, sure, that's great. Of course, like somehow you're gonna take a little bit longer because you get paid more then. But if this is the fixed price, it doesn't matter if I do it in 10 hours or in 2 hours. In the end, if I deliver a great product that you value, it's worth it, right?
100%.
I can give an example. I paid someone, I think it was $3,000 to do some like a tax benefit for me. And I didn't care if it took them like 10 hours or 1 hour. In the end, I valued what I was getting so much that the 3,000 was fine with me. Like in the end, my profit was more. So I didn't care if I had to pay 3 or 5,000 because the result, the value I got from it is more than the time they spent on it.
Definitely. So when you're working with a brand, what are some things that you do to come up with the best offers for them?
That's a great question. I can give an example. Like recently, I was on a consultation call, with a guy. He was working at a company that was renting out studio spaces for master classes. So if you have a master class or whatsoever, you have in the background, you have all those Zoom screens for everybody that tuned in. Those kind of studios, the big studios, not the Dean Graziosi and the Tony Robbins big, but one step below. And he was like, how can I sell more? Like, how can I do this better? I was like, firstly, we have to see who is your audience, because that's so important. Who are you targeting? Who's your audience? So we just discussed like, who's your audience? What are they looking for? What are their barriers, their struggles? Those kind of things. And from there, we started to create the offer. And with creating the offer, like you have the studio space, of course, that you rent out. I think it was a package of $20,000, something like that. That is your core product, right? Or service in this case. And we just started brainstorming, like, what can we add? Like, what's interesting? You can make it as crazy as possible, but just write everything down. You could think about, okay, we can add a guide how to close your potential customer in the end. Things to avoid during a webinar or a masterclass. How to prepare yourself for masterclass, like things like that. That's what they know as well, because they are in that business and they can help their customer with that as well. But also like crazy things, out of the box things, that we will pick you up from the airport and we bring you to your hotel. We make sure there's food for you, everything like that. You can make it as crazy as possible. And then after the brainstorming session, you start looking at everything and you start crossing out the things that are like, no, we cannot do this. Oh, no, this is not a great idea. Something like that. And then you have certain products that you can add, because a lot of people, they challenge each other on being the cheapest compared to their competitor.
Race to the bottom.
Like a race to the bottom. Exactly. You want to increase your value and even pay the price a little bit higher. Increase the value. That's an irresistible offer. And you can add things like a video about coaching, a video about how to close your potential customer in the webinar, things like that. And that's how you create an offer, like providing as much value as possible. Always over deliver.
Have you read any of Russell Brunson's books?
Yeah, exactly. He is a master in this. Russell Brunson.
He speaks like, it's not like, never reduce your price. It's always like you want to add extras in, like bundle it together to give your client prospect the best offer they can't say no to.
Exactly. And this is a way of changing like your thinking, because we are so used to cut your price. But like instead increase your value. And I think if entrepreneurs like see that and trying to understand that and work with that, it's going to be so much more interesting. And the value is great. So in the end, you over deliver. So Russell Brunson is like, he's crazy in that. Now we have Hormozy. What's his first name?
Alex Hormozy.
Alex Hormozy, he's also killing it at the moment. And you have a few others that are really, really interesting to listen to.
There's the Ad World conference on at the moment. He's I was listening to some of that earlier, and he did like the opening talk on day one, and it was he basically summarized his book, $1 Million Offers. And it's there's a lot of value in that book he talks about in there. So a lot of times people struggle with their pricing because they don't know how much to charge for their offer.
It's hard.
How do you get to that pricing sweet spot though? Because we know the cheaper isn't always better. Like, do you always set your sight, okay, I'm never going to go less than this, and then just make it offer the best it can be, so it's worth that? Or do you find that, okay, this with drop shipping, for example, if this product isn't selling at this price, would you then try cheaper price or raise it to try and find that sweet spot?
That's something that's really hard. Like, what is the right price? Like in the end, it's just testing. You don't know it. It's just testing. And I rather test it on a little bit cheaper. So if it works, I can increase the price, then do it vice versa, like decreasing the price, because the people that have bought it from you and they see the price decrease, kind of like, it doesn't really help your customer relationship. So I'd rather price it a little bit cheaper, and then price it a little bit higher, or change the offer, like increase the value to make it more interesting. For example, with consultation calls, like, what's the price? What do you think you're worth in an hour, for example? And with this as well, you can rather charge a little bit less, and increase your value. Then price it like, okay, my hourly rate is $200 or $400. Like 3 clients, they pay it, and then you switch it to 100 because that works better. Like, that doesn't work like that.
Sure. So let's say you have an offer which isn't converting for some reason. What would be the first things that you'd be looking at to figure out why it's not converting?
The offer, like, it's all, Often it's not really about the offer, it's about the page itself.
Okay.
Like as Russell explains as well, yeah, he says you have a hook, a story, and an offer.
Yeah.
Often like people think people don't go to my website, they don't buy my product, but often they go to your website, but they leave because it's not interesting enough. So that's the
Mm.
hook. Like you have to have a great headline that
Yeah.
keeps people interesting.
Yeah.
And then the story can be your story, the story about the product, and then the offer. The offer should be irresistible. Like you
Yeah.
can, people often underestimate how easy you can make a great offer. Like you can add so many things. For example, yeah, we will go to your funnel, but for example, if you are doing a weight loss coach,
Yeah.
so that your the service that you provide,
Yeah.
you can add things like you can add a simple ebook about things to eat. You
Yeah.
can add another simple ebook about exercises you can do at home. You can add a Facebook group for like um, people to talk to each other, provide value, things like that. You can add a weekly Zoom call where you speak to everybody, ask
Mm.
questions, answer questions, things like that. You can make a great offer by just thinking outside the box and
Yeah.
add things like that. Videos, coaching videos work really well because you have to record it once and you can just send it to them. So it
Yeah.
doesn't take a lot of time afterwards. So start thinking outside of the box, like what do the people need and what can I add as well that's
Yeah.
interesting for my target audience.
Yeah. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. So it's been amazing talking to you, man. I really appreciate your time. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we tie everything up?
Yeah, sure. Subscribe to this podcast, of course. Thank you so much for having me. If you want to get in touch with me, my LinkedIn is Yannick Cruden. That's YANNICK, and then the last name is CRUDEN. Just yeah, connect, invite me, and I would love to talk to you, help you with things. And of course, follow Sam.
Yeah, awesome. I'll put your links below in the bio below, and so people can follow you as well. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast and my channels, guys. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, just Horton Digital. So HORTON_digital. And the website is hortondigital.co. Get in touch if you need any help. So yeah, thanks very much again, man. I'll look forward to catching up soon. And guys, I will see you on the next episode. See you soon.